Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar. If for any reason you can't hear me right now, there is a section under either questions or chat that you can email us and let us know if you're having any problems. So please do that if you would. We do have you on mute because there's quite a few attendees, and we want to make sure that everybody can listen well to the recording. So thank you for joining us. My name is Tanaya Asan. I'm from Build It Green. Build It Green is a nonprofit here located in Northern California, although we do have an office in Southern California as well. And we are the implementer of the PG&E Whole House Rebate Program, which is what we're going to talk about today. That program is part of Energy Upgrade California. Probably many of you have heard of Energy Upgrade California. Our today's webinar is being recorded. We will be sending you an email link to this recording tomorrow so that you can share that with other folks in your organization if you think that they would be interested and want to learn more. Also know that we will be giving you contact information. Please feel free to contact us after the webinar and ask additional questions. As I said, we do have you on mute, but you can type in under the questions section of your screen, and we will be getting to questions near the end of the broadcast. So today's webinar is titled Business Opportunity Through Energy Upgrade California. And what we want to share with you today is really the business opportunity for you as a contractor or a tradesperson in the industry. And while I'm on that topic, I want to get a sense of who's in the room with us. So wondering how many of the folks on the line are remodelers, and if you can show us by pushing the little button, the little hand button, that will be your response that says, yes, I'm a remodeler. Okay. How about HVAC contractors? Any of those on the line? Okay, great, thanks. Any new home builders? Great. How about consultants, PERS raters or other green consultants? Super. BPI contractors? Anybody taken the BPI training? And if you didn't answer, one more. How about designers? Other tradespeople? Okay. If you didn't answer yes to any of those, give a type in. Tell us who you are. Thanks so much. So just to be clear, this workshop is not a participating workshop, if any of you have heard that. A participating workshop is a 3-hour workshop held monthly on the third Tuesday, and it is one of the prerequisites for someone becoming a participating contractor in the Energy Upgrade California program. So this is just an informational webinar, and we hope that it gives you enough to really get a sense of whether or not you want to move forward and participate in the program. So let's move on with just an introduction. Here's what we're going to cover today. We will talk about the program overview, the Energy Upgrade California rebates, just a quick overview. We're going to talk about why whole house and what that means relative to energy upgrade. Why home performance? Really, what's happening in the industry, and why is this might be a good idea for you as a consultant or you as a contractor to become involved. We're going to share with you some of the business models that we've seen out there, successful business models for folks like yourself who have taken on the home performance, become a participating contractor, and really made it work for them. Finally, we'll get into information about how the program can support you. In other words, what are the resources that we can give you to help you be successful, and the requirements to actually joining the program. So just a quick overview of Energy Upgrade California. It is a statewide program, and it provides tools and resources for the property owners to improve energy and water efficiency in their homes, save money, to increase home comfort, and also know that California is very interested in reducing the amount of greenhouse gas emissions from the operations of our homes. So this is important from that perspective as well. So this is a statewide program, and all of our big utilities are participating in it. PG&E being our biggest utility, but SoCal Edison, SoCal Gas, San Diego Gas and Electric are all participating in it, and all have very, very similar rebate programs. Some of the municipalities, such as SMUD, also have a program that is similar. Homeowners get up to $4,000 for doing improvements on their house, and that $4,000 is a modeled savings. In other words, there's a software tool that gives a pre and a post performance review of the house, and based on the percent improvement on the house, there is a rebate structure, and I'm going to share that with you a little bit later. Right now, it is for single-family detached or 2 to 4 unit residences. We are going to be seeing one developed for multifamily, but right now it's just for single-family. There's definitely training and support for approved contractors, and for the consumer, there is an online portal, and we're going to share the link for that so that you can see it. That's where those folks, where the consumer can get the list of the participating contractors, such as what you may be doing. So this is a collaboration. This is unprecedented that we've seen the Public Utility Commission, who they oversee all of the utilities, and our California Energy Commission have come together because they really are interested in upgrading homes and reducing the amount of energy that's used by homes. Then they joined forces to develop this program and to market it. And because there's such backing from those two huge organizations in our state, we're seeing a lot more traction in the program. Most of the funding is from the investor-owned utilities. Those are your PG&E and SoCal Edison, et cetera, as I mentioned. In the last 2 years, there was also federal funding that came into the state, and that helped kickstart this program. You may have seen advertisements either on television or the radio or billboard, and it also helped to develop workforce, develop folks that could deliver the program. Those funds are starting to expire, but the investor-owned utility money will continue way beyond 2012. So this is the rebate structure, and we're not going to get into a lot of detail, but just want to give you a quick summary. There is a basic package. Not many homeowners are using it, but it's a few individual measures or individual improvements that can be made for $1,000. After that, we're talking about a modeled savings, and the percent savings, pre and post review, is what the rebate amount is based on. So you can see pretty simple equation, 15% saving gives you a $1,500 rebate, 40% savings gives you a $4,000 rebate. Property owners eligibility. So we are on this particular webinar, we're talking specifically about PG&E because Build It Green is the implementer of that program. Any consumer that owns a house can participate unless they are on propane. It is for existing homes, so it's not accessible for new home construction, but any existing home can participate. And the property owner does not have to reside in the home. So this can be used by renters as well as investors. Finally, just a few stats to get you started. Right now we have 195 participating contractors. As you can see, we have 2,900 jobs in the pipeline, so there's plenty more. I think we have 13 million homes in California that were built before 1980. So there's plenty of opportunity for other folks to start getting involved. The average job is a $14,000 job for the advanced, $5,000 for the basic. As I said, most homeowners are choosing the advanced package. The average return would be about $3,000 per home, based on this 31% average energy savings for each job. And finally, I just wanted to share some of the bigger contractors that are involved, like Remodeler and some of the others that you see listed on the right, are doing as many 50 jobs a month. So as I said, there's a lot of opportunity out there. I would love to see some more folks get involved. So I'm going to turn it over. First, before I do that, let me give you names and so forth of the other presenters today. So again, my name is Tanaya Asan. I've been in residential construction for over 30 years, and I've been at Build a Green since 2007. I'm a senior manager here, focused on stakeholder alliances for new homes as well as existing homes. I'm currently working a lot with the real estate community, trying to help them understand the value of upgrading existing homes, both at time of sale, but also because they have ongoing customer relations that they work with. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but it's teaming up with real estate professionals is a great opportunity for folks that are becoming participating contractors as well.
I just want to note there are some realtors on the line, so
oh, great.
I just wanted to let you know.
Perfect. You are our ambassadors. We love you folks. Mark Richmond will be speaking next. Mark Richmond is the founder of Practica Consulting and has been a green building consultant in training for over 20 years. He has been Build It Green's main trainer and consultant since our conception. He actually was a founding member of Build It Green. If you haven't heard Mark speak, you have a great opportunity coming up today because he's a fantastic speaker, really knows the industry, and has a lot of inspiration and excitement about this work. Matt Savage will be speaking last. Matt Savage works here at Build It Green, and he is in charge of contractor outreach and recruiting for the PG&E program. He's also helps contractors after they become participating contractors, and to help make them successful in this program. In this position, he does have a background in sustainability and in marketing and in high tech, so 10 years in all of those industries he brings forward, and he's been doing a fantastic job. You will be happy to be involved with Matt Savage here. So with that, I'm going to turn the slides over to Mark Richmond. Oh, I forgot to read one part here. Maybe Mark will start here with the value propositions to contractors. Just an overview. This whole presentation is really about the value proposition to you, but let's start here. Take it over, Mark.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Sure can.
Okay, great. Over. Thanks for having me here, folks, and thanks for you all for attending. We're really happy that you've attended and that you're interested in the topic. So let's get into the value proposition and talk a little bit about how all this stuff looks and what its meaning is for contractors and for all of you realtors, everybody who's participating. The main thing is that we're trying to increase the quality of what goes on in the industry, and we're trying to show and give an opportunity for contractors to differentiate themselves. And I'm getting some voices in the background, Matt. I don't know if that's you or someone else, but we'll make sure that's square. We're trying to find a way to differentiate people to differentiate themselves. So if you differentiate yourself and you show that you're a higher quality contractor, then you have an opportunity to get the job, to increase the sales of your job, because really when you're going in and looking for these new things in houses, you're going to find out that you're going to be able to have a bigger job size and ergo bigger profit margin. Also, adding this service to your business is going to help reduce some of the seasonality and the ups and downs that you have, because you'll be able to work throughout the year rather than just during the heights of when it's too hot or too cold, which is when it tends to have more work for people in many of our industries. And then finally we'll be competing on quality and not on price. So you're showing that you can deliver a whole house solution to people rather than just coming in and selling them one type of a product or one type of service that's a traditional kind of a mono service. And if we, actually I'm going to switch off of my headset and move on to the solid phone because I still keep getting feedback here.
Yeah, there's an echo, Mark. You might want to mute your computer microphone as well. Just make sure that's muted.
Well, so now I'm just on my standard phone without a headset. How's that? That sounds much better to me.
Yeah, maybe if anyone can write in and say if the echo's gone, that would be great.
Okay. And then overall, if we're doing a better job for people, of course, we're going to have fewer callbacks. And then the idea is that in order to do this, you have to have your whole team on board, which means all of your employees and your partners and your subs are people who are also going to be interested in doing this higher quality work. And that's going to lend itself to having longer-term relationships with your partners and having staff stay longer with you and being more committed to your type of business. All right, let's move to the next slide. And I'm still getting an echo as far as I can hear on my phone. Okay, so let's move on to a whole house analysis. And what does this kind of work look like that's different from a standard type of either remodeling job or construction job or a fix-it job? I'll move to the next slide. What's been going on is that over the last 20 years or so, there's been an immense amount of research that's been going on in the building, what we call the building science industry. And the building science industry looks at what are the building dynamics that go on, where does energy move, where does water vapor move, how do buildings hold together, why did they fail too short a period of time from our expectations. And what we found out is that one is we still really don't know a lot about buildings, and we're learning about it very quickly. But that also our industry is not very prepared to handle lots of the problems that we've been encountering in terms of high energy use, bad indoor air quality, occupants not being happy with the comfort level that they're getting from their heating and cooling systems and their envelope, and overall lack of durability and quality in the buildings. And we just tend not to be an industry that's has a formalized training program, and so we find that we learn lots of this stuff haphazard, and there's a need for improving our educational level on all fronts amongst all areas of our business. Let's move to the next slide. So what we found out in this research is that, can we go to the next slide? There we go. What we found out in the research is that we are starting to formalize a pattern and a practice of evaluating homes and taking a look at them both visually and with some new testing equipment so that we can do a proper analysis of a home rather than kind of just an educated guess about lots of this stuff, but that we can actually test many of these things and catalog many of these things and give them an evaluation that has an actual metric to it. So the first thing that's typically done when we go and do a new type of whole house analysis like this is that the auditor walks around and takes a look at everything. And the main things that they're looking for in this type of analysis is they're looking for classic signs of air leakage and classic signs of low insulation or inadequate insulation. So they'll be looking around at the classic holes in the house, as you can see the pictures on the left, the outlets, the fireplace, the guy down below, the weather stripping, the guy in the middle, and then up in the attic on the right-hand side. So we're looking for where does air move in and out, and we're also looking for insulation. The fact about air is we have learned over the years is that about 25% of the home's energy losses happen through air leaks. And that's separate from insulation. An air leak is a physical closure, and insulation is a kind of a mattress that we use to slow down the energy movement. So they're two separate things. And we'll see a little bit more about that as we go through the next slides, which we'll go to step number 2. One of the first and main tests that happens in every one of these audits is that we do what's called a blower door test. And basically the test is an ability to pressurize the house, and that is done by opening the front door, as you can see on the picture on the left, inserting this frame with a shroud and a fan, and turning that fan on and measuring the speed of the fan and the pressure that is exerted upon the house, which is measured by the manometer, which you see in the second picture, the guy holding the large kind of canister there. and they are opening all the interior doors, yet closing all the exterior doors and exterior windows, thereby kind of trying to blow the house up like a balloon. And that pressure gauge can tell, based on how much pressure is exerted on that fan, how tight or leaky the house is. And as this fan is running, the technician will also walk around with the picture that you see, the third one from the left, the little smoke stick, and he will go with that little smoke puffer, and he will look at all the classic joints and holes and gaps that exist in the house. And he's educated enough, or she's educated enough to know where to go to look for these places. And then they'll make a mark there and say, okay, we're going to go back here later on. These are points that we need to seal up. So we're trying to get the house to be tight so that it doesn't have all of this air leakage. Let's go to the next slide. The third slide is showing off a really fancy kind of new tool that is getting ever more popular in all of these analyses, which is an infrared camera. And basically this camera can walk around and check differences in temperature. But it also kind of looks like an X-ray to us, and that's kind of how we interpret it a lot. But basically it's showing places where there's air leakage, like you can see on the lower left in the corner, or the second picture underneath the door. And then it can also check out things like where is where is the insulation inadequate? And so that you can see on the picture where the little cursor is going right now, there was actually insulation missing there. And so that's offering that information to us. On the top left, you can see the hot water lines. Since they're hot, they show off differently. The picture to the right is a breaker panel, and you can see that one of the breakers is overloaded and getting overheated. And then on the right, you can see that all of the electronic devices that people think are off are actually on because they're hot. And so this type of information is really helpful in finding out where are the spots of concern, where is insulation missing, where is air leaking, where is our electrical circuits overloaded, and maybe also where is moisture. So you could also find the difference. Actually, you'll see that in the middle picture on the bottom, on the lower left part of that picture, you'll see a little lighter area, and that's a sign that there's a water leakage problem right there, which to the naked eye you couldn't see that sort of stuff. So a fantastic type of a tool. Let's go to the next slide. Then we have a third classic type of inspection that's done, which is to see how leaky the ductwork system is. And what we found out in the research over the last 20 years is that nationally, on average, all ducts leak 30%. So 30% of the air that's going through that system leaks out either into the crawl space or the attic, which means it leaks into the neighborhood. And since it's leaking out, in one sense, 30%, it's got to come in 30% on another side, and that side is who knows where, which is wherever the air leaks are coming from. And typically that means crawl space and attics, which are not friendly, healthy, happy places where you want to get your, quote, fresh air from. So the technician in the middle is closing up all of the registers throughout the house, and the technician on the left is closing up the register, which is the return register. He's attaching a temporary duct and a new little fan, and he has the same little digital manometer there. And he is now turning on that fan, pressurizing the whole system, and checking to see how leaky is the ductwork. Fantastic type of thing. If the client wants a visual, you can use the picture on the right, which is a little smoke machine, which will blow into the system, and then you will quickly see where that smoke is emanating from, which is the indicator of where the leaks are. So a fantastic type of tool. Let's go to the next slide. The next slide shows the different types of practices that we use and tests that we use to see about the carbon monoxide poisoning potential in a home. What we found out is that after we've been making these houses tight and energy efficient over the last number of years, the air movement inside the house is less, of course, which is what we're looking for. But in doing so, we found elevated levels of carbon monoxide in houses because houses use lots of combustion appliances: water heater, furnace, dryer, stove, range, etc. And so in order to reduce this issue, because we have about 200-300 people a year in California and about 600 to 900 people a year in the rest of the nation that die every year of carbon monoxide poisoning, exactly from these types of things. So we are trying to do testing, and this is the first series of tests. And when we go in and do an audit, we first do these to make sure that we cover the basic health and safety issues. So you have a few different types of tests. One, you see Amy there with the water heater. She's in the third picture, and she's checking to see if we have a potential for backdrafting of the water heater or of any other appliances. And the concept of backdrafting is the fact that since you see that water heater flue on the right with an open gap, that's called a draft diverter, since that flue basically is open, when you have the situation in your house, which you have oftentimes, which is that you are exhausting air out of your house, such as by the bathroom fans, the rain hood, the dryer, etc. You're doing all this exhausting, but where is the air coming back in? And I told you this a minute ago, it comes in from anywhere. Well, air tends to be lazy, so it will come in the point of least resistance and through a big hole. This flue is a big hole, and it's a classic entrance point for that type of action where you see the cursor is drawing down. Instead of the air going up, it's actually going to come down, and that combustion gas will come into the home and can wreak havoc on the health of the occupants. The other types of tests we do are in the middle lower picture where you see the technician working on the furnace. He's making sure that the that the combustion gases are coming out at the proper ratio and that the burn is effective and efficient so that there's very little carbon monoxide coming out of the exhaust of that in the first place. And then on the lower left, you see the technician using a sniffer, and he is doing one of two things. One is he's first sniffing along the gas lines to make sure that they're not leaking. And then second, he's also going to measure the carbon monoxide coming out of the range hood itself, the range itself, and also out of the oven. And we're trying to, again, find a position where that carbon monoxide level is very low and it poses a little danger to the occupants. Let's move to the next slide. Then after we do all this analysis, we have now an opportunity to really put together a very professional analysis of the home in terms of what different appliances are using how much energy, where is the energy coming in and out, and we get that by measuring all the different parts of the home, putting it into a professional software analysis tool, and then also adding in the results that we get from those previous tests that I just showed you so that we can actually say, hey, your house actually operates like this. You actually use this much energy here, this much there, this much there, this much in the fall, this much in the spring, in the summer, and in the winter. And let's make good recommendations that are specifically targeted to the specific problems in your home that we have actually measured and not guessed. And in doing so, we're able to make a priorities list and target things that are going to be most effective and most cost effective. And so that is part of this new regime that we're in terms of really giving a much more professional presentation and really having some solid answers as to how to fix this home up and make it better, which in the past we were guessing. Now we're testing. Let's move to the next slide. So why are we doing all this stuff in the first place? Just like I just said a second ago, we're going to test, not guess. And so that's the big leap in change of what we are able to offer clients and in the confidence level that we're able to have. We need to do this because, or we are doing this because this is where the industry is heading. This is where a number of our contractors who are the better contractors have already blazed the trail for us. And what those contractors are finding out is that they feel radically more confident about the work they do. They have no reason to ever go back to the old type of regime because now they know, and now they know how to do it right, and now they have a greater level of confidence. Their quality level goes up. The solutions that they're able to offer the customer are much wider, and the customer satisfaction, of course, results from that. And then the follow-up enthusiastic referrals that they give to their friends to find out about these things. Because really, it's highly impressive. If you go through this series of tests and you watch that as a homeowner, it's pretty impressive to see the numbers on the gauge and to see what happens when the different dynamics happen in your home. It's highly, highly educational, and it really wows the clients and really impresses them because you are actually finding something really professional and not just guessing. Second, it's also important because times are tough. We're all having a harder time trying to sell our products and services. The economy is in a hard time, so that means we all need to have additional services to offer. Otherwise, we're going to have a hard time competing. The days in the past when we could only be a small type of solution person are gone because we just do not have enough work for that. So when you go into a home and you actually use these tools and use this analysis pattern, you will be offering more things than you used to in the past. In the past, maybe you were an insulation contractor. Now you're going to start doing some things on the heating and cooling system. Maybe you were a heating and cooling contractor. Now you're going to start adding some things on the insulation side, etc. Maybe you were a builder and you just came in and did the kitchen remodel and you never touched the heating and cooling system. Now you're going to start thinking about heating and cooling systems much more than you ever did before. And so that's only going to be good for increasing your sales and your revenues. Thirdly, doing this is going to, since you are the person who can bring all the solutions, you're going to have a better chance out in the marketplace. Plus, you're now going to be engaged with the Energy Upgrade California program, which has huge amount of support on marketing for you and technical work for you. And so that's why it's going to be highly valuable for you to get into the program and become an approved contractor and start working the system and working the program. Let's move to the next slide. And really overall, the ultimate is that we really are trying to service our clients. We're trying to have them get a healthier, happier, more efficient, cost-effective, low-maintenance home. So you are going to be able to deliver that comprehensive solution, give them the comfort they need, show that you actually have quality standards and you're following the protocols of this program. They are going to be able to lower their bills and improve the home efficiency. They're also going to have the extra kicker of having some rebates and incentives. Really, your business should be able to work very effectively on its own without any of these rebates. These rebates should be extra incentives helping you for marketing and helping the clients, but you should be able to defend your business without having any of these incentives. Because you're taking the whole house approach, you are operating a business that's really going to be delivering the services that they need in a multitude of them. When you do all that sort of work, you're going to be doing those last two bullets, which is, of course, helping the environment by saving energy and saving water and improving the health of the occupants. And then you're also going to be boosting the local economy because you are going to be buying from local people. You are going to be having local partners. If you're in the construction business, this is a local economic business. This doesn't get outsourced to another country. This is an all local type of a business. Let's move to the next slide. So let's see kind of how it would look on a case study with a homeowner. This is kind of your classic post-war box house that exists all over the country, built in 1948, 1,640 square foot home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, classic type of thing. In fact, these guys have even ran it along with that 60-year-old furnace, so they've been lucky to have that going on that long. But of course, you know that that's going to be highly inefficient furnace. So their problems are what? After the auditor went through and took a look at the house, they found, of course, tons of air leakage. They found very little insulation up in the attic and probably none in the crawl space and probably none in the walls. The furnace is old, that's got to go. And then, of course, since it's that old, that's the time period when we had asbestos-wrapped ducts, and the asbestos is probably leaking into the ducts and probably flying throughout the whole home, so that needs to get rectified. And then they have about a 15-year-old water heater, and the water heater lifespan is typically rated around 14 years. So that guy is probably an older one, probably inefficient, and probably has that type of open draft diverter that I showed you a few slides ago that is going to give problems for carbon monoxide poisoning potential. Let's move to the next slide. So after the auditor went through that and then decided on making a fix for them, this is the solution that came about for the house and was a good solution. So first we have air sealing. So when that attic is open, luckily, if there was no insulation or if the insulation was pulled out because it was full of rodent feces and all kinds of other nasty things, the beauty of that opportunity now is that now we have an open floor of the whole attic, and now the home performance contractor can come in and seal every hole and crack and leak, which you can see that orange foam in that upper left slide is starting to seal all of those cracks. And the technician will go all around the whole attic and all around really the whole house, start sealing up every crack and hole possible. Very easy job, but very important to do, and the devil is in the details, making sure that you hit all the holes and cracks. After that is done, only then will we put in insulation, as you see in the upper right-hand corner. The new furnace in the attic right there is finally going to give them some efficiency and is probably going to deliver actually the heat that they're looking for. So the technician will install that, and they will make sure that the burn is set efficiently on the flame there, and that they will also check for the carbon monoxide issues that they checked on the test in. We call that the test in when we first checked it out, and then they're going to do this test out after they install these devices. The third thing that happened was a new duct system. So finally the ducts were installed correctly, smooth, straight, few kinks, insulated well, and then sealed at every juncture, okay, so that we don't have that 30% duct leakage problem that we had earlier. Fourth, they got themselves a new water heater. You can see that that's a nice tankless water heater there. And so that is a type of a system that will not have any issues with carbon monoxide backdrafting because those are power vented systems. And then fifth, the contractor installed a whole house fan, which is a lovely, simple device, low energy using device that's used to bring in the cooler outside air into the home as the home is now hotter than outside, which is kind of a classic situation in the afternoons when you get back home or early evening. from work, you'll find that outside it's cooler than inside. And so basically you just open your windows and you run this whole house fan. It draws all the hot air out, brings cooler in, and in a couple of minutes the house was cooled down to a more moderate temperature, which is at least the same as outside. If the homeowners want to go further, then they could turn on the air conditioning system. But there's no need to use the air conditioning system until you've fleshed out the house. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. So what were the results? I mean, this is the bottom line. Well, the number one bottom line is that the customer's happy. And that's the quote from the customer there, saying that they're very happy with what's going on. They're thrilled. Yay, they're raising their hands. And they're willing to pay to get a whole house solution. They've probably gone through 4 different contractors who've each said, oh, you need my one product, or you need my other one product, or you need my other one product. And none of those has delivered a solution. What we're trying to do in this program is deliver a whole house holistic solution that analyzes the house thoroughly and then makes an actual analysis of what is needed, and then we get that for them. We don't not deliver that for them because it's not our specific business. We get a subcontractor in, they deliver that. That's the goal, whole house solution. And so what you see on the price breakdown on the left is that they spent $28,000. They saved $3,000 off of that with the PG&E incentive because they got their 30% modeled energy savings on the software program. And then San Mateo County gave a matching incentive of another $3,000. So they saved $6,000 off that 28, landing them at 22 at the end of the day. And they're happy. And they're happy to pay for that service because they know that you've done that in a professional manner where you really looked for the whole solution. And now they don't need to call 3 and 4 and 5 or 6 other people to come in, help them with other little things. You're the one-stop shop. Let's move to the next slide. So if you're going to get into this business, what are the kind of classic different types of formats that are going on? Well, the first and most important thing is that no matter what type of format you get into, this is commitment. This is a list of commitments that's going to be required to have any kind of a success in this business. One is understanding that this isn't just something you're going to try out for 6 months or a year. This is an investment in the long term. This is where the market's going. You're going to introduce these concepts in your business, and you're just going to see that you are only going to want to do more and more of that type of work because you're finally understanding what's going on in the building. You're finally able to actually verify things. And what all of this does is it really pulls you and your whole company up to a sense of excellence where you actually have standards that are written out standards and that you start meeting those standards and you have minimum standards that you have to go to. It's been kind of loosey-goosey until this point. By doing this, you have to train your entire staff, and it's also then important to train your subcontractors and your vendor partners, etc. Because you will be conducting testing and that you can't get around it. Testing is honesty. It shows exactly what's going on, both beforehand when you're doing the test in, and then afterwards, after you've done your work, you do a test out and you see how well you've done. And so you're able to actually measure your work, which is fantastic. And by doing that, you're going to have a natural continuous improvement type of cycle that's going to happen again and again and again on every house that you work on. So let's move to the next slide. Can we move to the next slide? Is that me or is that you guys?
Sorry. I just wanted to interrupt and say just a couple things here. We have a question. This is Tanaya. We have a question about the county rebates, and just know that those rebates have expired at this point. We still do have the utility rebates, but I believe all of the county rebates, except for maybe LA County has some more, but all of the local ones here in the Bay Area are expired. I also wanted to mention on the business models, you'll hear as we go forward, but know that the investment in this business model it can be done over time. So you may train a few staff in the beginning, get them started with a small division, and then grow from there. But you'll see that in some of the upcoming case studies. Okay, here we go. Oh, next slide. Yeah, hold on. Yep, trying. There it is.
Okay, there we go. So we've got 3 classic pathways how people come into this business. One is they start out as a remodeler or builder and then slowly start asking for some of these services and getting in partners who understand how to do the testing and how to do proper air sealing, proper HVAC installation, etc. Secondly, we have lots of people who start out as a partner subcontractor, where they just start working for somebody like this, and they find that they are going to be expanding and improving their service deliveries, and they become kind of the subcontractor of choice. And then third is people actually just dive right in and become the home performance contractor either from the start, or they grow from position number 1 or 2 into number 3, where they do all of the service delivery and they've brought almost everything in-house. So let's look at how each of those things look. That's the next slide. So first, as general contractor, as I mentioned, you start out by just, like I said, a little bit. So you start calling in a home energy auditor, and you start seeing how do these things look and how do your homes look. You think you've been doing a great job, but the auditor will help you actually figure that out and measure these things with the tools that I showed you previously. And then the same thing with bringing in a better installation contractor, a better plumber, solar contractor, HVAC, etc. You're going to start asking your subs to do a little bit better work than maybe they've been used to doing in the past, or able to hit a standard that you've been now introduced to throughout your training, and seeing if they can make that work for you or not. So let's take a look at a case study on the next slide. This is a company called Energy Centrics, and basically it started out with an insulation company that said, we would like to start doing some more of this work, and we would like to start bringing more solutions to our clients. But we didn't really feel that confident yet in doing it ourselves. And so they invented this new company called Energy Centrics, and then they pulled in partners to fulfill all the different kind of options of that would be classically desired for a home performance retrofit. And you can see those in the icons at the bottom there, that they brought in a solar contractor, insulation contractor is they themselves, modular home builder, HVAC, solar hot water, window person, wind power person, energy auditor, and roofing company. And so this company that got invented basically became a collaborative of all these different individual companies. And now each of those 8 different companies can offer a whole house solution by bringing a job through the group company here, Energy Centrics. And it allows them to help each other out. It gives them extra marketing power and prowess, and it gets them many more jobs than they would have gotten on their own, so that they've made this collaborative. And that's a way to kind of become a, quote, general contractor who's able to deliver all these sub-services. Let's go to the next slide.
Just one other thing to add is that at least one of these subcontractors, or at least one of the contractors that's involved in the project, has to be a participating contractor with the Energy Upgrade California. We're going to go through what that takes, but in this model, the general contractor doesn't have to be that approved contractor, but one of the subcontractors would have to be. In this case, Energy Centrics, I know, uses an insulation contractor that is a approved participating contractor, and I believe their HVAC contractor can also is also a participating contractor. Those are the folks that can get the rebates through PG&E. So just want to be real clear about that. Somebody on your team's got to be that person.
Great, thank you, Tanaya. So our second option is kind of being a subcontractor and trying to become the best subcontractor in the region, so that you become the preferred subcontractor to anybody who's undergoing either Energy Upgrade California or just trying to do better work for themselves. And so kind of a classic example is this next case study, which is an installation company called SDI Installation. And what they found out is that their regular kind of old way of just doing fiberglass insulation, come in, come out, well, it was like everybody else, and so it became very much a commodity, kind of yellow pages type of a business, and the profits are low in that type of business. They said, let's step ahead and let's try and become the best insulation and specialty insulation company in the whole region. And they did that by taking classes, becoming a Energy Upgrade California certified contractor, and starting to add more services. So they started learning about air sealing and learning how to do a good job on that. They started learning about home performance testing, and so they started buying their own testing equipment and testing all of the jobs that they were on. And then they started adding other types of insulation products that typically they weren't offering, such as spray foam and cellulose. And they now have an ability to offer any type of insulation in different parts of the building in different ways, and they're able to bring a specialty solution to that whole house. And so they have now become the installation contractor of choice to people who are going through this program or people who are home performance contractors who are interested in doing a much better job for the whole house delivered to the client. Let's go to the next slide. And then our third situation is becoming a home performance contractor on your own with your own company. And you typically either start out as that or you grow into that. Most people grow into that. And what people have found out is that they've grown into it either from the remodeling or new construction home position or as the trade contractor, like I just showed you on the previous slide, to the point where they're expanding and expanding the offerings to the clients, but they're also learning that they can bring all of these services in-house and be the true one-stop shop, not the kind of one-stop general contractor, but the one-stop shop where these things are in-house. So air sealing is in-house, insulation is in-house, HVAC is in-house. All of these things are in-house, so they can walk up to a client and be able to deliver them without question anything that they need. And what else did I want to say on that? Again, this is a position where you are basically the general contractor, where you need to be certified through a participating contractor through Energy Upgrade California, which also requires that you are a BPI certified contractor, and we'll talk about BPI and what that means in a minute. That stands for the Building Performance Institute. It's a national nonprofit, which is now very strong in the marketplace in terms of setting the standard for what do these different types of audits and these different types of solutions, what do they actually mean, and what are the standards for those different things, and what are the protocols that an auditor or a fixer needs to do to make these things work effectively and deliver a high-quality service to the client. So let's move to the next slide, and I'll start showing you some classic case studies of how people got there. But the main thing, again, and some of the stuff is a repeat, is that this requires patience and long-term commitment. So you are trying to work on this business and really basically upping your game a lot. And so that requires you to make some investment in equipment. And as Tanai said, you can start small and buy more equipment as you feel is necessary. You can even lease equipment. Getting training, again, for a few of the staff who are going to be your core team, and then having that grow throughout your whole company. And then committing the time and effort to train yourself and the rest of your staff as you go through this so that everybody on the team understands what's going on and has an ability to be flexible with each job and give the client a specialized solution for whatever is exactly needed in their area. And you know, an easy way to kind of start doing this stuff is to practice it on your own home and everybody on staff's home, and practicing the equipment, practicing an analysis, you know, working on your brother's house, your sister's house, your mother-in-law's house, and really getting that practice rather than practicing on the clients. And that's when all these aha moments will come forward for you, and you'll start seeing how powerful this analysis protocol is. With that, of course, comes a big job, bigger revenues, et cetera. So let's talk about our first case study here, which is Scott and Kevin O'Hara, the brothers, and they're in a classic situation. Scott has had his own remodeling company that you see on the left for many, many years, 2 decades. And then at one point, he just happens upon taking a home performance class taught by Rick Chitwood. If you ever get a chance to take a class with him, please do. And after that 5-day class, all of the light bulbs went on, and he started reevaluating everything he was doing. And you kind of have to have a sense of humility a little bit about this and be willing to look at yourself and say, wow, I really missed a lot of stuff over the last number of years in terms of how I look at houses and how I look at fixing houses. And so Scott started taking on some new subcontractors and trying to retrain some of his old subcontractors on getting better air sealing, better HVAC systems, et cetera, for his houses. Some of his contractors were able to step up to the plate, others were not. The ones that were not, he said, you know what, I'm just going to pull it in-house. And he started slowly pulling in these separate things in-house to the point where it became viable enough for him to pull in his brother and start a whole other business called Eco Performance Builders, which you see on the right, and they handle all the home performance contracting work. And so now he has an ability to move staff between one and the other if one part of the business is slower than the other one. So that's giving him a lot of flexibility over it. And every time he walks into a client's project, he's able to deliver the remodeling work, and he's also able to deliver all the home performance work. And some home performance jobs he gets called in on, they supply extra work now suddenly to the remodeling side, and vice versa. Let's go to the next case study. This is Cal Custom Building Services. This is our friend Craig Lawson, and he also is a classic type of situation. Actually, he's semi-classic. He actually moved from being a new home, high-end subdivision builder. He'd had that business since 1993. It was called Pinnacle Homes. And in 2005 and 6, they saw lots of trends happening in the local Sonoma County region about higher requirements for energy efficiency and for green building. They did an assessment against their standard product, and they found out, hey, you know what? We already really are a good green builder. We just haven't really emphasized it or called it that. And so we're going to start actually putting ourselves out there a little bit further and trying to beat the marketplace on that. And at one point, one of their senior project managers also took another home performance training with Rick Chitwood and came back a huge convert and said, we have to do this type of work. We have been building homes really well. We've been doing them energy efficiently according to the software programs, and we've been building them green, but we haven't been testing them to really see what's going on. So just about that same time, 2007 appeared, and the whole economy started falling apart in our new home industry. And these guys were sitting there on 24 high-end spec homes in their inventory, which took them 3 years of pain to try and finally sell those things down and shut down their new construction subdivision or division. But within that, within their company, they already had a, what do we call that? We call it service division, where they would go back to their clients a few years later and help them with any little remodeling needs they needed later on. Wanted to install some new shelves, new cabinets, fix up the garage, etc. So they already were kind of a little bit in the remodeling business, and they said, let's just morph that business into a whole home performance remodeling business, and we can service the clients with all kinds of stuff, and we can go back to all of our clients and offer them these services as well as other clients out there. And they found it very valuable for them. They quickly grew, and they were able to keep their business alive through this whole period. What happened then last year, Craig left the company and started his own thing, still kind of in the same vein, remodeling and home performance contracting. He's already done, I think he said, 8 home performance contracting jobs since that time, and about 8 remodeling jobs since that time. And some of them have crossed over in both. But he's really still done it as basically a 2-man shop, 3-man shop. And what he's found is that, again, like Scott and Kevin, they can offer either services to clients. And in fact, Craig even, as I called him a number of months ago about this, he says, here's a couple of tips of advice for you people getting into this business. 1, commit yourself and everybody in the staff to getting trained. 2, only work with highly professional firms that also have the same kind of commitments doing this high integrity work, and making sure that you can cover all the services needed and have any additional partners and vendors that you need to fulfill any hole or nook and cranny that you might not be able to service yourself. 3, he said, the devil is in the details. So make sure that you understand what you're doing. As I said a couple minutes ago, practice on your own houses and your family's houses. And what he did is he actually went through and choreographed his audit with 3 guys. And in 3 hours, they can totally analyze the house, talk to the customers, do the whole deal. And they have 15-minute kind of intervals where they have choreographed all of their activities. And so they know. They walk in with their cheat sheet. We're going to do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. It's like a machine. Practice, practice, practice. And then also, if you're moving from the new construction business basically to a remodeling situation where people are living in the house, which was new for many of his staff, he said, look, this is a pretty sensitive type of thing. You're working in people's houses. Understand that you need to have respect for them and for their house, and have your work be very clean, organized, get in and get out fast, and deliver the services to the clients and make them happy. Okay, let's move to the next case study. This one's, I think, for Tanaya.
So Groupie, I don't know how many people are familiar with Groupie company, but Groupie was a new home construction company as well, and still is a new home construction company. They also had a real estate division that sold both their own new homes as well as other homes throughout the region. And when things started slowing down and they had a lot of new homes in their inventory, they started scratching their heads and trying to figure out how to keep themselves alive. And what they came up with is looking, again, kind of like the folks we were just talking about. They realized that they were a really good home builder, that they were building green, and that it was something that they could do, that they knew how to do from the perspective of their new homes, And so they decided to try this out. And they did this very gradually. They developed a division with five staff people and got them trained and started doing retrofits. They trained their real estate staff on the benefits of energy upgrades so that the real estate staff could sell that service both before a home was sold or after it's sold, or even to their existing clients and to folks that had bought their homes, maybe 10 years ago. And very gradually they grew this division to where they now have 20 staff people, and they are one of those folks that are doing at least 30 homes a month. They also work very closely with not only their own real estate division, but they work with real estate agents in their region, and they're in the Central Valley, teaching those real estate agents how at time of sale that one can use some lending products like an energy efficient mortgage to improve your home using a loan at purchase. And they've been extremely successful with that model. So I think that's the end of that section. Thank you so much, Mark. And we're going to move on to Matt Savage at this point, and he's going to tell us a little bit about how of the services that Building Green offers to our contractors, both while you're becoming a participating contractor and after you are a participating contractor.
Thanks, Tanaya. So I'm going to just go into how this program can support you and how you get involved. So if you can go to the next slide.
Sorry.
So these are the ways that we support you in the PG&E Whole House Rebate Program as part of Energy Upgrade California. Quite a mouthful, I know. But all the different utilities, as Tanaya said, have different programs, and Build It Green is the program implementer for the PG&E Whole House Rebate Program. So we're administering the PG&E program for them. So how do we support you? Well, we have, I think there was another slide here, but oh, maybe not. We provide all these different things to support you. We have business advice, so we have a high-level view of the marketplace and the contractors that are in our program. I'll go into that in a minute. We provide free technical trainings and mentoring sessions for contractors, sales and marketing support, quality assurance. We make sure we have a quality assurance hat, and we make sure the job's done safely and to scope. Part of that's protection to the homeowners, but part of it's something that you can market that you're held to a high quality of standard. And we also have resources and hotlines, and you can reach us at any time. And we help you with lead generation. And I can go into that in a second. So next slide, please. So the technical training support that we offer, the technical trainings that you'll have to kind of go through to get enrolled in the program as a participating contractor in the Energy Upgrade California program are the basic path or the advanced path, as were alluded to earlier. The basic path technical training happens up in Stockton at a training center, PG&E's training house, and you get to do a test house, and it's pretty cool. That's free. It's a 3-day training. The advanced path is a 1-day training, and that deals with augmented BPI protocols, which if you're not BPI certified, that might not mean much to you, but we can also go into how to get BPI certified. The technical mentoring support that we offer is all centered around the Building Performance Institute's standards around combustion safety. So we can help walk you through a lot of those protocols and processes even when you are BPI certified. And the equipment and materials, we have kind of a view on where to get the stuff, how much it costs, what you need when you're getting started. The field mentoring, we can walk you through your first job for free. So that's a nice way to get some of your staff members there, kind of crowd around the water heater and, have a helping hand. The energy modeling and Energy Pro software, we provide support around this. We don't provide the actual software. Software costs about $500, but we do provide a lot of support around that in terms of webinars and trainings and phone support. And we frequently check in with you to make sure you're doing okay, and we encourage you to check in with us. So we will do our best to support you as much as we can. Some tips on best business practices. We provide a unique view of the key attributes for success in this program because we see so many contractors day in, day out submitting, doing energy upgrades to homeowners' homes. So we kind of have kind of a high-level view of the business models that are thriving and those that aren't. Some beginning contractors outsource some of the technical stuff when they first get started, so we can provide you some kind of off-the-street advice on what seems to be working for contractors. I mean, we usually don't speak in black and white when we talk about these things, but we're happy to have conversations or even come out to your shop and talk to you about it. Job submittal paperwork, best practices. This is part of, there will be an admin component to this program once you get started to submit the rebate paperwork and the technical documentation, and we can help you with that. We can also provide some staffing level advice that kind of segues with the outsourcing advice, who to put on, the new roles that are going to be created in this process in the office. You'll need someone to help with some of the paperwork, and then we also provide some, best practice guides and checklists and such. So next slide. There's also a level of sales and marketing support, both at the statewide level, but also we can support you in-kind support at events. We have sales and marketing training webinars that we do, and we can come out to your shop if you're a bigger contractor, and we can educate your sales teams as well. We do that on a case-by-case basis, but there's also a marketing toolkit on on the statewide website where you can download print-on-demand door hangers and all sorts of marketing collateral for put your logos on and such. Yeah, okay. And then there's homeowner workshops where a room full of homeowners gets together and contractors speak to them about the energy upgrade program. And it's a good way to network with homeowners and get leads that convert to upgrades. So those are exciting, and we can help you get involved in those. So yeah, that's some of the support. Tonight was mentioning the upcoming sales webinars.
One of the examples I wanted to give is that we have a home performance contractor that has been invited to speak to a real estate group in Livermore. And we will be there to support him and give a little information about the Energy Upgrade California and the quality assurance that's behind it. So that's another way that we support the contractors to provide a level of approval or to give some confidence to the audience that these contractors have a quality assurance program and that they can do quality work.
Right. So if you're taking initiative and setting up your own kind of marketing workshops, we would be happy to join. If you can pack a room, we'll make sure we can be there. So what does this program look like to join? You become a participating contractor, as we've said. You must become a participating contractor in the program before you can get your homeowner the rebates. So for all you realtors, designers, architects, consultants, there are avenues to team up with other contractors who are participating and collaborate. And the best way to do that is to go to the energyupgradeca.org website and search in your local area for participating contractors, because that's where you'll be placed once you get approved on that statewide website, and that's how homeowners can find you. So you can find them and to form whatever level of collaboration you want. So these are the steps to becoming a contractor. You attend a workshop, as Tanaya was saying. It's called a participation workshop. It lasts for 3 hours. It's totally free. It's a lot of material, but it's supposed to be everything that you need to know to get involved. You have to meet the program eligibility requirements, which I'll go into in a sec. One of them is BPI. And you start your enrollment application, get the required technical trainings free of charge, at least the PG&E ones, and then you get approved and start selling jobs. Here's a snapshot of the two distinct paths that you can go down as a contractor. You could become a basic upgrade package contractor where you're supplying up to $1,000 rebates for homeowners. And those are kind of a set of measures that you would do to the home, and you just get a rebate up to, well, it's $1,000. The advanced upgrade package is a little bit more involved. The work scopes can be really anything within some boundaries, and there are different requirements, but you can achieve deeper energy savings and get up to $4,000 rebates for your homeowner. And the main differences between these are the advanced upgrade package requires a General B license, and there's a component of energy modeling. So you'll have to submit an energy model, a test-in baseline, and then a test-out, show that the energy was saved in the model. And then you'll also have to have a BPI building analyst on staff. And the BPI building analyst must be the individual performing the combustion appliance safety test. For the basic package, you just have to have a BPI building analyst perform the combustion appliance safety test, but they don't need to be on staff. So those are the main differences. Oh yeah, the basic upgrade package also, you have to have a Class B general building license or a C2 and a C20. But yeah, so those are the requirements. Next slide. Training pathways. I've been kind of talking a little bit about this, but if you were to try to make it a step-by-step process, this is a potential way to go. I might add step 0 would be B license, maybe. But step 1 here is Building Performance Institute. Get your building analyst license, I would recommend.
Well, that's a requirement.
That's
the one that's required, right?
Yeah, well, you just want to make sure you're teamed up with the right person. So this may or may not be training for you, but you want to make sure you have someone who you can either bring in to do the test or who you want to hire to do the testing for you if you want to do the advanced
This
test.
is the basic requirement for a participating contractor. You've got to have this on board. These others are optional, correct?
Yeah, well, yes. The building analyst is the fundamental, and everything else builds on that and is just a little bit more specialized. So all the other ones are BAs plus some. So yes. And then you, as I said, you go to the participation workshop, totally free. You go to either the basic training or the advanced training, so the 3 or the 4, and you, depending on which path you're going to go down. We recommend going to the basic if you're in advanced anyway, just because it's pretty good stuff. It's 3 days with hands-on learning. So I think that's that.
Answer the question about people.
Oh yes, there was some questions about how do you get BPI certified, and specifically in Sacramento. I did a little bit of research while Tanaya was presenting. I'm just going to throw it out there. There's a lot of different affiliates who do the trainings. There were some subsidized trainings at one point, but I would go to bpi.org and look at the affiliates and see if you can get a link to their website. You might have to do some rooting around. Unfortunately, it's not as easy as I thought to find an affiliate. But there is a company, and we don't endorse anyone in particular, but Everblue seems to do a lot of trainings, and I found one in Sacramento. So I would check them out. I think that was it for BPI. Yeah, but yeah, okay. They do vary in quality, though. So you want to make sure you ask a bunch of questions. And on bpi.org, there is actually a list of questions to ask your training. They don't endorse specific training affiliates either. They want you to do your own homework. Okay. So another recommended training is the Whole House Rater training offered through CalCerts. Where you'll learn the fundamentals of how to do all the blower door stuff, I believe, right? So it's like how you do all those tests, those fundamental tests that you're going to need to do for the test-in. and test out. Here's a little snapshot of costs and types of equipment. You'll need maybe most of this stuff, I think. There's an optional section down below. I get excited about the infrared camera, which costs a lot of money, but it's a really amazing sales tool if you know how to work it. Homeowners love to look at that kind of stuff, and it's instant feedback. But you're looking at between $10,000 and $20,000 for everything, and that's probably a per crew cost, because if you wanted to send out multiple teams, I mean, you might be able to share equipment, but each crew who's going out and doing this stuff probably needs to have at least one of these things. And all participating contractors in the program through Advanced Energy Products get a 10% discount on equipment. I think it's an internet website, and it comes straight to your door, so that's kind of cool. And equipment suppliers do offer financing and leasing options, and we're happy to provide you with some if you're interested. I think this is your slide since you're the financing guru.
I think this is one of our, no. So we also wanted to mention to you that along with the rebates, there is financing available. We're going to see more coming, but right now there are a number of banks and programs out there that provide funds for energy upgrades, and both as a refinancing and for a new loan. There are some more coming through our state. You'll see some probably in the next few months. You're going to see some specific loans related to Energy Upgrade California. So there are other resources for your clients other than taking money out of their bank, out of their savings. Next steps for you.
Next steps. I think this is the last slide in the presentation, so we're really appreciative you've been so attentive. You've been remarkably attentive, actually, compared to some audiences. We can actually monitor that, so God bless technology. Next steps. I would sign up for a participation workshop. Please, if you like what you heard today, there will be a lot more in this more in-depth webinar next Tuesday, starting from, it's 2 to 5, so it's every third Tuesday of the month.
And you consultants or realtors, you can come to this workshop as well. It's required for contractors, but it is open to other folks. And it's just much broader than what we've covered today in an hour.
Yeah, so tell your friends, grab a beverage, spend an afternoon with us, and we'll have a fun time. And then the second step, these aren't written necessarily in order. I would check out the websites if you're interested in knowing more about the program. These are the 2 key websites that I would look at. One is kind of called the Contractor portal, and that's builditgreenutility.org. It's for the PG&E Whole House Rebate Program specifically. It has a whole host of recorded webinars such as this one, documents, policies on 2 to 4 units, and you know, basically everything that we're doing. And then the energyupgradeca.org website is not unique to PG&E. It's a statewide website for the Energy Upgrade California program, and it's a website for both homeowners and where contractors can put themselves on that list, that contractor directory.
Definitely go through that website. It will also, you can find out other rebates that are available. So sometimes there's water utilities and other rebates that are available. So you'll get a sense of everything that's happening in the state or in your region.
Great. And you know, another thing to add as a contractor, once you get your you know, your approval letter, you'll get one final email, and it'll say, you know, what do you want to put up on this statewide website, and then you can put up your contact details, how you want to be seen to the homeowners. You'll also get access to all the marketing collateral. So that's a place where you can do the print-on-demand service and all that. For any questions, you know, just give us a call at the hotline number 866-970-7348, and we'll respond to you as soon as possible, and we'll answer live most likely. And then info@builditgreenutility.org is how to reach us by email. And there was one question actually here that just came in. Will HERS rating certificate through CalCerts allow me to bypass 3-day basic training? Unfortunately not. We recommend that in addition to the basic training. The basic training is is kind of the basics of home performance, but there's a lot of stuff. It was created specifically for the PG&E Whole House Rebate Program, so it's got that PG&E kind of focus through and through, and how to, specifically related to this program. So unfortunately not. But yeah, let me know if you have other questions about that.
So a reminder that we will send you out a link to this recording and to this PowerPoint, and please feel free to contact us with additional questions. We hope that you'll come on board and join us. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. There's another question.
Okay.
Just saying thank you. Okay, that's great. Thanks so much for thanking us. Have a great afternoon, everyone.